to this week's Get from Jess. So we're going to do a few movements that build up to what's known as the world's greatest stretch. Okay, and that's kind of an all-around hip mobility sequence. So we're just going to do a few more moves just to get ourselves warmed up before we do try it. You'll see it in done a few different ways. I'm going to do kind of like the one I think gets the most with the sort of like at least wobbliness, because there is a slight balance element to it, and we'll give that a go. So just get ourselves moving and some of the stuff we need to do. Let's get into this half kneel position here, not hip flexor stretch, half kneel, hands together, and I want you to rotate to your one side and then to the other. Okay? So you should be twisting your upper back from one side to the other. We'll just do 10 of these either way. Keep pushing your hands together, keep your hips still, and then swap legs. So half kneel, hands together, push them together, and you should be getting a huge swing, but try and twist your chest with it. Okay. So from that same position, you're just going to walk forward a little bit, get that front foot, and go into a bit more of a hip flexor stretch. So you need to just be pushing your hips forward a little bit more. They're going to take whichever knee is down, you can take that hand and you're going to put it up overhead, and then lean to the side. And then come back to the middle. We'll just do 10 like that. So in that hip flexor stretch, reach up, and then lean. Up. And same on the other side, so hip flexor stretch, reach up, so my left knee down, my left hand is doing the reaching. And you should feel a stretch through the hip flexor and also through this whole side really, so my left hand is doing the reaching, right through that whole left side is going to be getting a good stretch. Okay, when you stay in that position, and then all I want you to do is you're going to rock this leg, and you're going to rock back and drop your chest towards the knee. Okay, you should feel your hamstring stretch then. So from the side, hip flexor stretch here, but rock back and drop your knee towards the chest. And you can spend a little bit longer down, with your chest down, you can put your hands down if you want. You can even reach down towards the foot if you prefer. But basically you want to shorten the distance between your knee and your chest. So from here, I'm dropping my chest down. There's the hands down now. You can even reach forward if you would like. Okay, so I'm going to just work a little bit groin. So I'm going to that front stretch here. So knees are wide, feet are turned out. My shins are basically parallel to each other. They're not in here, out parallel to each other. And then we're just going to start off in a nice high position here. Chest up, I'm going to rock back and then just release a little bit. I need to rock back. You should be able to go a little bit further. Just do 10 rock backs in this position. You should have a little bit more motion. That's all. Each one. Then you're going to drop your chest towards the floor. Stay on your elbows. You're going to rock forward and back. Same thing. So each one you should go a little bit further. Try and keep your back quite flat. Okay, so that's got the main elements that build up to the stretch nice, bit looser. So, with the world's greatest stretch, you are going to start off in a big lunge position, okay? So it's a really wide position here, okay? Big hip flexor sort of stretch, big lunge position, okay? So you start like that, with the back knee off the floor. So here like this. You can put your hands on the floor, that's fine. And the first element we're going to do is we're going to try and take the foot that's at the front, that arm, we're going to try and take it to the floor. Okay? So can you push this elbow towards the floor? You're going to reverse that motion and you take the hand up to the ceiling. You're going to put it back down on the floor and you're going to push the knee away, so up to the outside. Keep your foot flat, you can grab the foot if you want and you can push that knee away. You're going to rock back, okay? So you can have your hands down, you can have your hand on your foot, you're going to rock back, and you should feel this hamstring here. Rock back down, lift your hand up, and reach across. Woo. So, you should feel everywhere around that hip loosening up. Now we're going to do the other side, I'll do it from the front angle so you can see different angles. So, take a really, really big step back. So you're a really big hip flexor stretch here. Okay, you should feel that hip flexor really, really stretching. You're then going to go down to the floor. You're going to try and sink that elbow down. You're going to plant this one. And you're going to rotate up. Then you can grab the foot or put it down. And you're going to touch the foot flat and push the knee outwards. Rock back, so you feel the hamstring, back down into that hip flexor where your knee off the floor, and then you're going to reach, if your right foot's back, reach with your right hand. Okay, so, there's quite a few elements to this, okay, so just follow along, try and do what you see as well as you can. We're just going to do a couple more on either side, so, start. Split, big split position here, okay? The knee doesn't touch the floor on the back leg, okay? That's the first thing. So you start like this. And then you're going to drop down to the floor. And if my right foot is forward, your right foot is forward like I have, you're going to try and put your right elbow down towards the floor. Take your time. Then you're going to reverse that motion, you're going to reach the right hand up to the ceiling. Then your right hand is going to grab your right foot and you're going to use your right elbow to push your right knee to the outside, keeping your foot flat. Bring it back to the middle, keep your hand on your foot, rock back onto your left heel and rock back down, pushing your left knee towards the floor. Lift your chest, take your left hand overhead and reach to your right side. Then return standing. Okay, so I'm going to do it off my left foot now and be working my left hip to begin with. So I'm going to take a big step back. That big hip flexor stretch, knee not on the floor. Both hands to the floor. Then I'm going to try and drop my left elbow down to the floor. Then I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to reach up to the ceiling. Then my left hand is going to grab my left foot. I'm going to push my left, I'm going to use my left elbow to push my left knee to the outside, holding onto my foot. Then I'm going to rock back onto my right heel. I'll try. You should feel some hamstring on the left leg. Then we go back into that hip flexor. I can stand over into my right hand, lift it up, and reach to the left. Okay, so your hips should now feel very, very loose. If you want to do some more reps on that world's greatest stretch, feel free, but you should feel much looser through your hips now because it does all the motions that you can possibly do. If you need to just regress it a little bit, you can put the knee down, okay? So when you're here, you know, your knee on the floor, and you can do it from there. 2, 3, 4, So, I'll show you my knee down from the front. So my knee's on the floor now, I'm in a hip flexor stretch. You can do the same motions. Just slightly less loading, okay? So either of those going to get great mobility through your hip. Alright guys, I'll see you next week for another count from your desk. Bye bye.